Welcome back to Margaritas in Paradise. Hey, I wanted to get out to you guys. I just had this other video that I did on leaving Thailand, and there was a couple things that I just plainly forgot in there that I should have added, and I wanted to kind of follow up on that video. You know, a lot of people just change their mind. They come here, they think it's going to be something more than what it really is, and they move to Thailand. They love the nightlife. They love how cheap it is and everything. But what ends up happening is people change their mind sometimes. They start missing their family. A change of heart of whether they made the right move or not by coming over here. So that happens all the time. But recently, in the last year, Thailand came out with this deal about taxing income coming into Thailand. Okay, so the original intent of this law was that Thai nationals, okay, that were bringing in money from abroad, they were going to make sure that that gets taxed. And I'm no expert on this by any means. I'll have a link here for a legal site that you can look it up and kind of follow the newest and most up-to-date information about it. But, you know, people have basically looked at this here and they said, okay, if you've been living in Thailand for 181 days, you're considered a tax resident now. And with that being said, money that you bring in that isn't, there's a whole bunch of different conditions that apply. So if you've already been taxed on that money elsewhere, then more than likely, if there's a tax agreement between your country and Thailand, and more than likely there is, okay, and you can follow up on this website. But if there is a tax agreement between the two countries, you won't be taxed on it. And then there's all kinds of misinformation out there about how much of a tax it is. That applies to you. I think most of us retirees, we're probably looking at maybe 1 million baht or so, something, or maybe less than that a year that we're bringing into Thailand. So, and with that being said, most of us, our money's already been taxed. All right, and I'm kind of looking at my own comparable income levels and that sort of thing there. So I don't think we have to worry a lot, but definitely check out this website. Well, anyway, I'll put a link in the description below. It's for Siam Legal, and it's called Thailand's New Tax on Foreign Income, and an overview. And they have lots of good charts in there. It's really easy to read. I think there's all kinds of information out on the web right now, and there's lots of YouTubers that are really on top of it, of what they're talking about. I'm not a legal consultant by any means. You know, check this out. But I don't really think you're going to have to worry about it so much. Now, people ask about, do we pay like property tax if you own a home or a condo, for instance, that sort of thing here in Thailand? And yes, we do. And I'll tell you what, I think my property tax was due, I think it was like May or something like that. And on my condo, the property tax on that was 338 baht. Okay, so approximately $10 for the year. Just super easy. I have a friend of mine that has 6 condos, and he paid less than $100 US for all 6 total for the year. It was his property tax. So it's very, very doable. Yeah, I want to put out a special shout out and a thank you so much to Mark for buying me a coffee. I appreciate your generosity so much. Another shout out to Alfonso. I really appreciate the drinks that you bought me. Super, it's humbling. I'll tell you what, it's so generous, and I appreciate your support. I really do. So getting back to why maybe expats or retirees say bye-bye to Thailand, you know, what else do they do? You know, a lot of people have problems with adapting to the culture here. It's when they arrive here, it's not exactly the way they think it's going to be. They arrive into the land of smiles, everybody's smiling. It's great. And they see all the initial sticker shock of what's going on here, and they love it. All right. But then eventually they realize that they're a Falang, a Western person, and they're not Thai. And even as much as people want to be Thai, or they want to be a part of the Thai culture, it's going to be very hard for you to really fit in. You're going to be being able to adapt to the understanding that this is a Buddhist community. They take off for ceremonies and that type of thing, where you're used to having Christmas off, and Christmas means nothing to Thai culture in general. Now, a lot of Thais like to celebrate Christmas, don't get me wrong. It isn't the big party that, let's say, New Year's is. You have to adapt to your culture, but many times people have a hard time adapting. I was taught right away that, you want to get maybe your point across, or you need to go do something, especially maybe if you're in the village or something like that. And let me just tell you this example. I was in the village and I wanted to put white limestone rock down on my property. So I talked to my spouse's father about this, and he said, okay, we'll go tomorrow morning, we'll go talk to the village headman, and he will arrange for this limestone rock to be delivered. So we go over there, and everybody sits down and drinks coffee with the village headman, and there was a bunch of people over there anyway. Now, we just needed to order like 10 tons of rock. Okay, in my book, it was that simple. But in the village life, it wasn't that simple. You needed to sit down, have a cup of coffee, maybe spike it with a little bit of lao cow or something like that, and talk about it for a little bit. Now, I had an appointment. It was time to go. And they can see that I was getting frustrated because Pa didn't want to ask the question. This question required finesse. And I couldn't understand it at the time, but I understand it now, how the system works. And a lot of people have the same problem with that. They don't think that you're being taken serious about whatever the situation may be, and Falangs will tend to raise their voice because they want to make sure that they're being heard. And that's never a good thing to do in Thailand, okay? You don't raise your voice. You never, ever yell. It's the same thing with honking a horn or something like that. You honk a horn, bot buses can honk a horn to just get your attention. You can honk a horn to avoid an accident, basically. But other than that, keep your hand off the buzzer. So you're driving along in Thailand, you very seldom ever hear the horn being sounded. But if it does get sounded, good chance that it's a Falang. You don't raise attention to yourself, okay? You don't yell. You don't point at people. Yeah. There's so many different, I shouldn't say rules here, but there's so many customs and courtesies that Thais have within their culture. And you're just expected to know this to a certain extent. You have to adapt to the culture. You have to kind of lay back and just understand that eventually your point will be taken. All right, but maybe it won't be taken like that. So basically, when you do things like that, what's happening is you're calling attention to yourself, which is never a good thing. Thais will look at this as potentially you losing face. If you're yelling at another person, maybe they'll take that as they lose face. And of course, if that happens, they're going to disassociate themselves with you. All right. So it's a no-win situation. You have to calm down, relax, and just to understand that those situations will get taken care of eventually. There's a thing here called Thai time. Okay, a lot of people have a hard time with Thai time here. So, and it's a fact. You know, I'm a ex-military guy, and I'm used to being there 5 minutes early, and very seldom ever late. But here, that's not the case, and people have a hard time adapting to that. There's other things that you just have to know. Thailand's a monarchy. You can't disrespect the king or the royal family. It's a Buddhist community. You can't disrespect Buddha. You can't talk bad about the government. It's not your place. Okay, you don't get involved with the politics of Thailand. Let the Thai nationals take care of that. And of course, never disrespect the police. Okay. Hey, if you haven't done so already, make sure that you're giving me a big thumbs up, that you're hitting that subscribe button, and hit that bell for future notifications. All right, let's keep going. I want to put out another shout out to Jerry, another YouTube subscriber, viewer. Saw him over at Leo's Cafe and Bar last night. It was Saturday night for the Burger Burn. All right. Anyway, it was good to meet him. And check out Leo's in the description below. You know, people fail to see the big picture of why they're here. Whether it's retirement, they may be here for work, and they're just settling into the community. There's another one. When it comes to prices and maintaining a budget, you know, you're living in a tourist destination, but there's more to do here than tourist activities. But if you're going to go out and do the tourist activities, you're going to be expected to pay the tourist prices. And one of the last things I want to mention, and I kind of touched on this a little bit, but Thai logic and Thai time. Those are big things here in Thailand. It's funny because Amazon, you know, I love her to death, but she sees my dish rack and that has slots to take a bowl and set it up so the bowl drains right and everything's nice and even. But she don't see those slots for holding a bowl. She'll take that bowl and lay the bowl down flat in the dish rack. Now, is she doing it wrong? No. She's just not doing it the way the dish rack was designed to handle the dishes. All right? She's doing it the way that she was taught to do it. And so we kind of get into the Thai logic. There's been many times that I always think of something about I get in line and I'm going this way, but when she gets in line, she's going this way. And does it really matter? Probably not. It probably doesn't. In my head, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And unfortunately, in her head, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. And they just happen to collide. So, but lots of times, people have a hard time adapting to those scenarios. So, I want you to stay in Thailand. I don't want you to leave, all right? I get people telling me that this is a dirty little town, it stinks, and I don't get that, okay? Don't get me wrong, I know when you go around certain areas, there's open culverts and that type of stuff that don't smell good. But that's not around my condo, and hopefully it's not around where you live either. You know, it's so they talk about, oh, you can't sleep at night because of the loud music. Well, don't stay over a bar. You know, that's fact. I mean, if you get into a condo and at 2 o'clock in the morning there's booming music going on, obviously you didn't recon that building very good before you signed the lease. All right? Yeah, it's everything that you do here is up to you, and you make your own call. Okay? If you find out that you don't want to wake up in the morning because you were up all night, that was on you. Don't blame it on there's nothing to do in Thailand, because there's too many things to do, and there's too many organizations that you can get involved with. There's another viewer mentioned expat clubs. For the American guys here, we have VFWs for veterans and the American Legion here in Pattaya. All right, but there's other foreign military veterans organizations here as well. And all you have to do is search for them. I know the ladies, somebody mentioned, are there expat ladies here? Absolutely. They have all these different functions, whether it's Rotary or the Lions Club, and there's other ones too. I just can't remember what they all are. And that's what Google's for, Google is your friend. One of the last things here, we have this weather, and as another viewer had mentioned, the heat and humidity does get to people over time. It's not humid here all year long. It's about 6 months out of the year, and then the humidity drops down considerably. Right now it's the rainy season or wet season right now, and it's pretty humid out there. October approaches and we get into the winter months, then the humidity is going to drop down, and it's probably going to be less than 50% most of the time, and it gets to be pretty comfortable out. But there's going to be times that people, they go outside and they just start sweating automatically. When I was living in the U.S., I used to take a shower once a day. Here in Thailand, I take a shower 3 times a day, sometimes more. Somebody asked me, just in this last round of questions, why I live in Thailand. Now, there's a bunch of reasons, but in all honesty, I always wanted to live on the beach. And when I was in Florida as a Florida resident, I tried to live in Naples and Key West, but I couldn't do it on the money that I made. But I came to Thailand, and I can live on the beach. Okay, in the U.S., it would cost me, let's say it was $5,000 a month to live on the beach. Here, it cost me $5,000 a year. So, yeah, that's just one of the reasons, but that's a valid reason. All right, so now, don't get me wrong, this is not Phuket. And if you can afford Phuket and you want really great beaches, and this is a pretty good beach here, don't get me wrong, but down in Phuket, you got crystal clear waters all the way around the island. Go out to Phi Phi Islands and things like that, and it's even clearer, more clear. I mean, it's already clear, but you know what I mean. So, yeah, people don't come to Pattaya specifically for the beaches. That's one of the reasons they come here. But if they're coming here for only the beaches, they're going to go south, or they're going to go out to the islands. They're going to go to Koh Larn. They're going to go down to Koh Samet. They're going to go down to Koh Chang, Koh Kook, way south to Koh Lipi. They're going to take advantage of crystal clear, great snorkeling, warm waters of Thailand. And you should too. But if you want a great place to live that has good beaches, places that you can walk, that you can swim in the water, things like that, then Pattaya is a good choice. But some people will come here and they've been told that the water is sewage and so on. And, it took me several years to understand that we actually have sewer plants here, and the raw sewage doesn't get dumped into the ocean. Now, has it ever happened before? Probably so. But I know right now, there's no way. The water would stink. Okay, anyway, we won't get into that. But somebody's going to fight me on that. It doesn't matter what I say, somebody's going to fight me on it. There's all kinds of reasons why people leave Thailand. I don't care if you're AFL over in Australia or Premier League or the NFL in the US. I know they're all different. Rugby, whatever it is. Put your favorite team in the comment section below. Let me know who it is. All right. Go Chiefs.